Warning. This video contains images and themes that some viewers may find disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Ugh. Ugh. Ooh, ugh. I challenged my viewers to paint a model in just 1 week that fit the theme of "This makes me uncomfortable" as part of the latest Paul is bad at stuff paint jam. The paint jams are basically the same as game jams, but for mini painting. Participants have a limited time to create something based on a theme, but unlike game jams, which have tangible prizes and projects that can be continued into fully fledged products, paint jams prizes are basically just clout. But they're here to allow people to try something new and to get creative. Unlike other painter competitions, winners are not just based on the best painted entry. I want to encourage anyone of all skill levels to try it out, and the creativity of the idea or justification of the theme is what I'm looking at when I'm judging, with execution being a smaller part of the whole package. The other weird thing with this is that I also participate in the paint jams as a challenge for myself. Obviously, I cannot win, that would be ridiculous, and unfortunately this time, I decided to create the paint jam the same week I also decided I want to play 18 Centurions at a 40k Super Major. So I ended up doing a lot of painting, but not any that really fit the theme. I mean, I guess you could say building and painting 2 tanks and 6 Centurions in a week is well outside my comfort zone, but that isn't that interesting, and my community had a whole lot of way better ideas. My initial idea was I was going to attempt to try something new and difficult, painting an entire mini using only my airbrush. Not anything big either, a smaller model where I'd have to try and use the airbrush for accuracy and detail. A fair number of participants also had this thought, with a lot of good examples of people attempting techniques, colors, or models for the first time to try and get out of their comfort zone. Rack went with the triple threat of ideas, with this being their first kit bash and first attempt at lightning patterns, as well as also just being a generally uncomfortable gory nightmare. K, Riss, S basically threw every new thing and the kitchen sink and dived headfirst into their Dark Angel with a slew of new techniques, which is a great way to get all of that painting anxiety out of the way, especially for someone who's only been in the hobby for 3 months. There were a lot of new painters who used this competition as a way to get some more paint time under their belts, which is great to see, but my favorite model and our first winner is this amazing Space Marine Hellblaster from Nye 2000. Apologies if I pronounce your name wrong. It's weird. Nye? No? I don't know. But whatever. They're demonstrably a talented painter and can paint some amazingly vivid minis. I mean, they paint Howling Griffins for fuck's sake. But even someone of their skill level still has some things they've not tried. And I love the way that this came out in this almost cel-shaded style. It also makes, in my opinion, a good reference for others who want to try non-metallic metal or object source lighting by just being so vivid. An excellent entry, and congratulations for our first winner. Others took this a step further with some very creative meta entries with some truly weird ideas on how to make things as uncomfortable as possible. Stormlord Apologist decided to paint their mini upside down, which, yeah, that would be uncomfortable. Stairwell Licker, interesting name, used their left hand to paint this marine. I'm assuming they're right-handed. Whiskers TDC used some quality supplies to paint this Alpha Legionnaire, which also links back to all the previous paint jams, which is very clever. I would be remiss to not mention Chestnut, who seems to have just had a nervous breakdown and went full Lamenter on this Lamenter. You okay, buddy? But the most creative idea and our second winner has to be Sheriff Ston, and the most disconcerting thing I've seen in a long time with their deconstructed Lord of Plagues. Painted entirely on sprue, but then also put on the base. Absolutely heinous display that makes me feel somewhat unwell, but it's an incredibly creative idea. And I know the community agrees with me because Sheriff Stone also wins the Community Choice Award, the first Paint Jam double winner, so congratulations for that. It is well deserved. Speaking of Nurgle, something people clearly find disturbing and uncomfortable is anything related to Big Daddy Plagues himself, with many entries dipping into the grotesque, disease-ridden models as inspiration. Zedek decided to create a literal biohazard with melted plastic, minipus, and alcohol to assemble this dapper chap from scratch, whilst battling literal nausea through that toxic combination. I wouldn't recommend trying this at home, but the outcome is very cool, and I love his hat. This is the great unclean one she tells you not to worry about. But our next winner here truly went above and beyond with their entry, by trying a few new skills, boring a hole through an expensive mini, and then creating a maintenance nightmare by shoving a real, actual plant into it. Shibata Ross's Potkin, very nice, not only looks incredible, but it's making even me very uncomfortable thinking about the upkeep on this thing. Is pouring mortar into a mini actually a good idea? Will this actually just become Nurgle rot at some point? I'm deeply curious, so please update me on this incredible entry. And this also marks the first 2-time winner, so congratulations Trivata Rotter and your creativity. Great entry. But Nurgle doesn't monopolize the body horror and gore space, 2 themes which were very well explored in this competition. It also makes me think that some of you have some serious issues, so please seek help. Staying on Nurgle briefly, this incredible outhouse mimic by Joybringer, ironic name, really is disturbing and also an incredibly good idea. Definitely something I'll be thinking about for a future D&D campaign. Yeah, like Oracle decided to take this idea out of their brain to create this absolutely hellish monstrosity, so thanks for sharing that. And there are so many other awesome gore-fueled horrorscapes that were entered in this paint jam. So many disturbing and creative ideas that it was a real struggle to pick a winner out of these. They are all just so cool. Guidolf managed to just get across the line by entering this insanity, which is just extremely well executed. And I mean, yeah, this is going to keep me up all night. Some models don't even need to be that gory to be off-putting. Looking at this thing, it's just not right. Picking a favorite really came down to the justifications at this point. There were simply too many well-executed and extremely creative ideas, but my favorite and our next winner is Kimsey and their False Hydra. 1, False Hydra is cool as hell and a disturbing story. 2, it's fantastically horrific model. 3, it's awesomely executed. And 4, sounds like it was an absolute bloody pain to deal with. Not uncomfortable enough just painting this absolute nightmare, Kimsey also used only brushes, which can be a pain on such a large model, and had trouble assembling the bloody thing, and then painting it as one huge mass rather than sub-assemblies, which looks like it was horrendous to hold. Congratulations, Kimsey, for this fantastic entry in a very stacked category. There were so many that were so close to being winners. It cannot be overstated just how many amazing entries there were that fed into the themes of gore and body horror. I just want to continue talking so I have more space to display more entries, but I cannot display them all, so I'd highly recommend you go to the Discord and take a look for yourself. Absolutely marvelous across the board. So many good models. I mean, I could have slowed how fast I talk down, but that's literally impossible for me. Instead, I'll just continue rambling, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I should move on. Otherwise, this video will just become a slideshow of every entry, and we need to move on. Okay, here's a couple more. Now for some entries that were out of left field, which is really what I love to see. The themes are meant to be as open as possible, so any justification you come up with is fair game. As a fellow tall person, I can sympathize with, are you sure? Interesting name. And their experience with suboptimal seating solutions. Fortunately, this Khorne Berserker is getting some revenge. Some people, which I wouldn't recommend, went with a more literal interpretation by just making the experience as uncomfortable as possible, either through time crunch or just straight up adding far too many spikes, making their model simply untouchable, which, yes, that is absolutely uncomfortable. Some use the story of the model or diorama to set an uncomfortable atmosphere or tell a disturbing tale. But our final winner took that one step further with an unfortunately sad but nevertheless important model. Deterioration of the Self by Manet is art, basically. I don't really have much else to say about it. It was an unexpected entry. I know my channel is heavily Warhammer based, but these competitions are open to anything. Yes, even Quar. Topics like Alzheimer's are uncomfortable and affect many people and families, and this model is an incredible representation of that horrific illness. Manet writing a very touching personal account of the effect this has had on him and his family, even donating $20 to the Alzheimer's Association as part of his entry. I don't want this to come off as insincere or anything, but I also don't want to feel like I'm profiting off Manet's entry in charity for this video, so I've set up this video as a YouTube giving thing, so you can help support the Alzheimer's Association as well, and all the ad revenue from this video will be going towards them, as well as a personal donation from myself. I mentioned this to Samuel from Tabletop Stronghold because it would feel a bit off to throw in a goofy sponsor time and then also do a charity in the same breath. But it turns out that this is a cause also close to his heart, as he has a family member currently suffering from Alzheimer's. Samuel has very kindly offered to match all donations made during the next week up to $2,000 towards the charity, which is really awesome. So thank you so much for the generosity and continued support of this channel. The power of magnets being used for another good cause. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. I just love saying magnets. So if you're in a position to help donate them, please do, as not only do I think this is a wonderful and creative entry that deserves recognition, it's also for a great cause that I want to help support and to give back to the community of such wonderful, creative, and kind people that has given me the chance to do stuff like these paint jams and make these videos. So thank you. Ooh, let's lighten the mood a bit so we aren't all getting too uncomfortable, which I guess is ironic considering the video. But a huge thank you to all of the incredible participants in the third Port is Bad at Stuff Paint Jam. I hope you had fun, and I hope to see you next time for Paint Jam 4 in an indeterminate amount of time from now, because I'm going to be very busy between now and eternity trying to keep this channel going and also being old and just full of life events. But until then, thank you for being a great community. Keep encouraging each other, try and find new things, and get through that backlog and get out of your comfort zone. If you want to see all of the entries, you can find them on the Discord. And once again, thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoy this, go ahead and like and subscribe, all the good YouTube stuff. Become a member or patron like all of these awesome and obviously very comfortable people right here if you want to help secure the future of this channel and get access to the super secret supporters club, where we try and understand the minds behind some of the weirdest models we've ever seen.